Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. And we are pleased to be joined by Clemson head baseball coach, Monte Lee. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing well. First off, how is the season? How are things going? Getting ready, prepared for the season, which literally starts next week. How excited are you guys?
Well, we're very excited. I think the main thing for us right now is not counting down the days, but making the days count and getting a little bit better every single day, evaluating our position players who are fighting for starting jobs and evaluating our starting pitchers who are fighting for starting jobs, and just going over the things that are very, very important to us as a program on the pitching, the defense and offensive side of things, and just trying to prepare our guys for a great Indiana squad. So, all in all, we're fairly healthy, knock on wood. And, that's the main thing right now is we want every guy physically and mentally as ready as they can be come opening day. And so far, things have been going very, very well.
Okay, so let's go around the diamond. Let's take me through your who's going to be where on the diamond for you guys.
Well, we still have some battles that are going on between a couple guys, but behind the plate, I'll just kind of work my way around the diamond and then go into our starting pitching battles. But Cooper Engel arguably has been our best hitter overall from the fall into spring. He's a sophomore, played a little bit for us last year, left-handed hitter. I would expect Cooper to potentially be our leadoff guy. He's a guy that sees a lot of pitches. He'll get on base. He doesn't strike out a lot. He can really move the baseball. Could also potentially hit in the 3 spot as well. I think that highly of him. Very scrappy, hard-nosed player. Could also play left field when he's not catching or DH. The other counterpart there is Jonathan French, who's been in the program now. Frenchie played a lot for us last year. Right-handed hitter with power. So they complement each other quite well. Frenchie's probably a little bit ahead of Cooper defensively. And Cooper, again, is arguably the best hitter on the team. I know Grice gets a ton of recognition. Cooper is, I think, has a chance to be a really, really good player for us. At first base, Grice is certainly in the mix there, but Grice could also see some time in the outfield. He's been playing a lot of right field for us. He's very athletic. So Caden could see time at first and right. Briar Hawkins could also see some time at first or third base. He's in the mix at first base as well. Second base, we got a good battle going on between Blake Wright, a sophomore, and Tyler Corbett, a transfer from the Citadel, who was also Southern Conference player at Citadel. Ben Blackwell has played very, very well, transferred from Dayton, hit .350 at Dayton last year. Solid offensive player, but plus defender at shortstop. Max Wagner, sophomore, was an all-star in the Northwoods League, has played very, very well as of late. He's our best defender at third. Briar Hawkins could also potentially see some time at third base if Grice winds up playing first. So, we have some flexibility with our infield, and we've got some guys that we feel like from a matchup standpoint, if we're facing a lefty, we may move another right-handed bat in there with the flexibility of being able to play Hawkins at first and Wagner at third and sticking Grice out in the outfield. And if we're facing a righty, we want to stick another left-handed bat in there. We can move some guys around to get more lefties in there. In the outfield, Chad Ferry, older player, was hurt last year, didn't get a chance to play for us, was an all-star in the Valley League, hit 6 home runs this fall. He's certainly a strong candidate for left field, but Cooper Engel could see some time out there as well when he's not catching. Dylan Brewer and J.D. Brock are both battling it out in center field. J.D. is probably the better defender of the two. Dylan's the more experienced bat. Dylan will be an everyday player for us, whether he plays center field or right. And then Brock could play right, Brewer could play right, or Grice could play right. So we've got a lot of options, but those are the guys, I would say those 10 to 11 guys are the guys that are in the mix to be our starting 9. On the pitching side, Anglin has thrown the ball very, very well. We expect him to be our Friday night guy. He's developed a third pitch. His changeup has become an elite out pitch. So we feel like Mac is going to toe the rubber, opening day for us. The guy that has probably emerged as our number 2 starter over his last 2 starts has been Nick Clayton. Clayton has been just dominant. 3-pitch mix, heavy sink on the fastball, and a lead changeup, and a solid slider, cutter as well. And in that Sunday battle, there's a couple different guys that we could see on Sunday. The guy that has pitched the best for that 3rd spot would be the freshman Billy Barlow, true freshman out of North Myrtle Beach. He's got just a power sinker. He's got the type of fastball that he literally can just pitch with his fastball, and it's very difficult for him to get hit. So, and then you got guys like Hoffman, Gilbert, Casey Talent, Jackson Lindley, Ricky Williams, Ty Olenchuk. Ryan Ammons will probably be our closer. He has emerged as the closer, in my opinion. He's been the most dominant guy out of the bullpen. Again, he was an all-star in the Valley League and has really emerged. So we feel like our pitching depth is very, very good. Another freshman's Jay Deal, who's going to be a very good one for us. And then Alex Edmondson's another just electric arm that's getting better and better. So, pitching depth-wise out of the pen, we feel good about it. But I would say right now, the guys that have stood out to me on the starting side going into the last weekend, I would say it's Anglin and Clayton. Barlow is probably in the lead for the Sunday spot, with a guy like a Nick Hoffman and a Ricky Williams, could be in the mix as well. But we'll stick some guys in the bullpen to pitch behind those guys, and we're going to have to use our pen. And we feel like we've got a pretty deep bullpen of strike throwers. So we feel good about our club and the competitiveness of our club, at this moment. And we're excited about playing somebody else.
Yeah, and that's somebody else you're going to play starting off is Indiana. What have you noticed have you taken a look? We've known that the Big Ten has kind of, stepped up there, in the conference and stuff. What is that going to be like to play a top team like Indiana? Because Jeff Mercer always brings a big squad.
Well, Jeff Mercer's an outstanding recruiter and an outstanding coach, and he's done a tremendous job of leading the Indiana program. Look, Indiana's been very, very good for a long, long time. They've had a top 20 program, over the years. So we would know we're facing a team that, from a talent perspective, they're going to be as good as anybody that we're going to play in the ACC. I mean, we wouldn't expect them to bring anything less than an ACC, SEC caliber club into Doug Kingsmore opening weekend. So from a challenge perspective, I mean, it's one heck of a challenge for our club to be able to play a team like Indiana. So there's certainly we certainly could not have brought in a tougher club to try to prepare our team for the upcoming ACC schedule. So we're excited about the opportunity to face one of the best programs there is out there.
Where do you think the ACC is at in terms of strength, and where do you guys really size up? Who do you think is going to be? Because we saw Duke just Duke took the conference last year. You guys were up there as well, but overall, where do you think the conference is at right now in terms of strength in baseball?
Well, good Lord. I mean, just look around. I mean, that's all you got to do is just look around the conference. I mean, you got teams like Virginia, you got NC State. I mean, NC State was arguably the best team in the country at the end of the year. And unfortunately, COVID, created some issues for them in the College World Series. I know that was a big storyline. But NC State was probably the hottest team in the country at the end of the year. I mean, they went to Arkansas, who was number 1 for a majority of the season, and beat Arkansas in Arkansas. So, I mean, you look at NC State, you look at Virginia, Georgia Tech is a top 15 program preseason. Miami's going to be loaded. Florida State is a top 10 preseason team by some polls. I thought they had the best pitching staff that we saw last year. Notre Dame was a super regional club. They're a preseason top 5 team. Louisville's always very, very good. So, I mean, good Lord. I mean, and I'm missing some folks. So, I mean, you just start looking around. There's a lot of top 20, top 25 caliber programs in our league. So I think our league stacks up with anybody.
Yeah, and And last thing is, if you could get better, if you could pick one area in your team that you can get better at, what do you think that would be?
Well, Clemson can't beat Clemson. I think that's the key when you look at some of the hardships that we faced last year. Listen, we take a lot of pride in winning the last 9 outs of the game, and all that simply means is you don't beat yourself. You throw strikes, you play good defense, and you're good at situational hitting when you have a 1-run lead. It's really that simple. The one question I always ask myself going into the season is, with 9 outs to go with a 1-run lead, are you going to win that game? And you do that with solid bullpen pitchers who pound the strikes on, with a great defense that can catch and throw the baseball. And you just don't beat yourself. You don't beat yourself when you win the free 90 battle. So if you don't walk people, you play good defense, and you move the baseball and force the other team to make plays, you tend to win a lot of baseball games. So we have to win the free 90 battle and not beat ourselves. And I think our guys understand that. Our offensive approaches at the plate have been much, much better. We have more strike throwers, I think, in a program. It's more about command over velocity and pitchability, and we've got a good defensive club. So as far as what we need to do a better job of, we just need to make sure we don't beat Clemson. If we play good fundamental baseball and execute and play the game the right way, I think we have a chance to compete with anybody.
Don't beat yourself. Always the biggest rule when it comes to everything. It's the number one rule. All right, Coach, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Good luck this season, and let's have you on again sometime.
Sounds great, Casey. Thanks for having me on.
All right.